Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. It's Kourtney here, Scrapbook-N-Memories, and it's time for Crafty Hour number 79. I hope you tuned in this morning and caught Deanna's and had a great time. She had two fun cards, one with a fun fold, and we're going to kind of be playing with a fun fold here tonight, too. I want to apologize. I am fighting a cold, so we will make it through this, guys. So good evening. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. So I was listening to Deanna talk about her fun fold, and it's hilarious because we did not plan this. She had kind of copied something from a previous Maker Mania, and I am guilty that we are doing this. I'm doing kind of the same thing. So this was a project that was an inspiration for one of our Maker Manias, and I think it was just an inspiration. We didn't even include instructions for it, I don't think. And this is a design that Amy Brock made, and I just loved it. How it had this, it's a card, it's a fun fold card. I don't know if it's an original by Amy or if she got the idea somewhere else. But this has been sitting on my table since that Maker Mania, and I kept thinking, I'm going to do this card, but I have never been able to work it into a project until this time. So this is a fun fold card that we are going to do for our Crafty Hour. This is the inspiration from Amy Brock from our Maker Mania project way back when. So here is my version. Using this fabulous charcoal line. We've got the same kind of window, and then it's going to pop open, and we're going to have that turquoise rub-on play peekaboo. Is that not adorable? So it is a fun fold kind of mechanism. You're going to back and forth, kind of like a little hinge, and that's what we're going to make tonight, guys. So if you want to craft along with me, great. If you want to just make your sloppy copy and then go back and remake it with your better cardstock, that is awesome too, guys. So for homework that I gave you guys was these measurements to have this already. So for that, to have it, we needed 3 pieces of heavy cardstock. And I said heavy cardstock because the way this mechanism flips in here, you want it to be nice and heavy because it'll be flimsy if it's a lightweight paper. So that's why I said heavy cardstock. So that's what we're going to play with. So we have 3 pieces that you're going to have here. We have the 5.5 by 8 1/4, scored at 5.5, and you're going to fold it, and you end up with this piece. You're going to end up with a piece like that. So this is our front, and that is the flipping mechanism. Okay. Then your next piece is 5.5 by 8 1/2. And we scored at 4 1/4, which is in half. So I guess essentially that's a standard size card. Okay. And that piece is what pulling up on cards. This is a little tricky of a card. I'm not going to lie. So that's why I kind of wanted to focus on this. And if you want to do a sloppy copy first, then by all means do it. Charlene, yes, 110 pound is good. 110 pound is good. The cardstock I'm using is, I'm using 110. I'm using the 49 in Market, the white cardstock, that's 110. So that's what I use. Okay, so there's that. And then your other one is the 5.5. So your card is going to be 5.5 inches tall by 5 3/4. And then it's scored at 1/4 inch. So you got just this little guy right here, just this little flapper. Okay. So just that little flapper. So it is a little tricky we have to have these windows line up. So you're going to see we're going to punch here, we're going to punch here, and then I found it easiest after we do our cardstock first with our die. And on the list, I said 2 3/8 by 3 5/8-ish. Doesn't have to be exact, guys. Just needs a window. You just need a window with a nesting die. And we have to line these windows up and die cut them. to make sure they're lined up. And then instead of having to line it up again and go through that 110-pound cardstock with a die, I just X-Acto knifed this. I found it easier. If you don't have an X-Acto knife and you want to use your die to do it for the pattern paper too, then by all means do it. I just thought it was easier to X-Acto knife it. Okay, so that's what this is the goal. This is what we're going to kind of end with. So what I need you guys to do is first grab this piece of cardstock right here. So this is the one that has we're going to say the medium flapper, So you're going to look for that one. And then you're going to look for the other large one that is equal on both sides. So I'll give you guys just a second, because this is kind of the important part where we have to have it all go together. And I'm going to grab my die cutting machine. And I did this a couple different ways, and I'll kind of show you guys the easiest way I figured to do it. Okay, where's my die? There's my die. So there's a nesting die. This is just a Spellbinders one. Use whatever you got, guys. So you're going to take these cards, and what you're going to do, we're not gluing anything just yet. You're going to take these cards, and you are going to, I'm going to tap it down. So what we're doing is we are flush here on this side, and we are flush at the top and flush at the bottom. So then we have these two pieces over here. Okay, do you guys have that? Oh, let me back it out of the camera a little bit. I think it was a little too high. So we're flush at the side, and we're flush at the top and bottom. So you've got it like this, okay? And then I'll show you what I do, and then if you have a question, do it. We need to die cut our rectangle right here. So we're going to open these flaps up. We're going to open them up and lay those pieces on the trimmer, or our die cutting machine. And you want to make sure you're still lined up, top, side, bottom. If you want to use a repositionable adhesive to kind of hold them together, you can do that too, but don't glue them together yet. And then you're going to put your little window guy kind of down here. Now, you don't want your window too far over, otherwise your flipping mechanism will not hide when it's closed. So you kind of want to have it over here. And let me just I'll just measure. Let me just measure what we have on this, because that way it'll get 1/4 of an inch from the edge. So it's about, and I put it equal at the top, equal at the bottom. So I went about 1/4 of an inch, guys. Say 1/4 of an inch? 1/2 an inch. My bad. 1/2 an inch. I was like, 1/4 didn't sound right. 1/2 an inch. So we're going to go over 1/2 an inch. And on your dies, remember the die part is kind of in the center. So that's where I'm kind of measuring off of. And on my original one, I just eyeballed it, but I'll kind of measure it this time. 1/2 an inch-ish. Okay, that looks pretty good. 1/2 an inch. Then we're going to die cut it. Okay, and it is going through 2 pieces of 110 pounds. So I did it one way, and then we're going to back it up and do it again. So it is having to work through those layers. It may or may not go through all those layers. If it doesn't go through all those layers, that's where the X-Acto knife is going to come in handy. So let me pop and see how we did. There we go. And you could totally line the die back up there and re-die cut it again if you want. But it is hanging on by a thread. So I'm just going to X-Acto knife it and just release it. Okay, so there's my first window in that piece. And this we're not going to use, so you can throw that to the side. This piece we are going to use. And then here we have a window here. And this one didn't cut through very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my die back on there because we were going through a lot of thick cardstock, guys. A lot of thick cardstock. So I'm going to line that on there and I'm just going to cut it. Hi, there's Amy right there. Amy, it's your idea and inspiration. Did you see me in the beginning? I showed your card that inspired me from Maker Mania. We're going old school. We're going way back when. I have been wanting to do this card forever, but I just couldn't figure out a card to use it on or the right project to use it on. Okay, so does everybody have those two windows? We need to have these two windows, okay? Got to have these two windows. Then we need to make one more window. And that window needs to be in the back side of this one. And that's the one that is equal on both sides. So we're going to fold that one shut. Fold it shut. And we're going to die cut here in this window. So this is the one that folds up normal. Okay, so we're going to put that back in our die cutting machine. Kind of wiggle it around. Whoops. All right, let me put a piece of tape on mine to hold it down. You stay there. It is so thick that it just wants to pop up. Okay, so we're going to put that back on there. And die cut that one. So we're just making a window now in the back side of that one. Okay, so now we should end up with another one. And again, it didn't go all the way through, so I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and clean it up. Originally, when I was going to do this, I was going to use the deckled one. And then when I realized I'm going to have to do these windows, I thought, oh, Lord. I will never be able to cut that deckled. So we're doing straight edges. And these are just nesting dies. It's just a rectangle nesting die, guys. Nothing fancy. That's why I love my nesting dies. There's so many things you can do with them. I think my blade is getting a little dull. And if you have any edges that aren't really clean, you can just take your sander and kind of sand that off. Okay, and this piece we're not going to use, so you can get rid of that. I have one little snaggle spot. I'm just going to hit it with the sander, just kind of clean that. Okay, how's everybody going? Does it make sense so far? Makes sense so far? Are we good? And some of you guys might just be doing your sloppy copy. That way you can make your good one later. So what it's going to do now is when you put these two here to this edge, you're going to see that all those windows line up. All the windows line up. So what we're going to need to do is put glue all over this piece right here. And we're going to line it up and glue it to the back side of this one. Okay? Back side of that one. Okay, Kathy's just watching. Oops, I didn't cap my glue. Let's see if it's clogged or not. Nope, we're good. I love my little precision press. There are so many times that I'm done with the day or done with the night, and I'm like, yep, I'm out of here, and I shut my heater off. And I leave my mess on the desk, and I shut the light off and just walk away. And I forget to recap my glue. Okay, so there's that. So then we are going to line this piece perfectly. If you kind of tap it, tap her, because you want it to be flush on the sides, flush at the top and bottom. Just kind of line everything up. Ish. Apparently I'm going a little crooked today. Okay, so everybody got that? So now you should have something that looks like this. Okay, looks like that. And it has a hole here, and it has a hole here. Okay, a hole and a hole. Okay, now we have to add our back panel on. So you're going to have this piece that has just that itty bitty little edge. That itty bitty little edge, we're going to close the card down. Make sure I do this right. I did it wrong the first time, and I had to get right there on the back. Okay, and for this one, I'm just going to use my score tape. Because it holds nice and strong, and it gives me a little time to kind of flex and move it. Okay, so we're on that back piece, and we're going right on the back. I always make my little thing. We're going right on the back here of this window, okay, right along here. Again, we want to make sure everybody is lined up. And then I just pull my tape and press. So now you should have something that looks like this. Everybody got that? Something that looks like that from the top. So then when you open it, you're going to see that little panel flip in there. It's exactly what we're going for. That little panel, it's going to flip. Now, when I close mine, oh, I'm so sorry, Karen. This you're going to see right here, and it's hanging out because maybe I put this too far over or something. So that is about 1/4 of an inch. And we are just going to open it up, and I'm going to shave off 1/4 of an inch right there on that piece. Okay, so we're going to shave off 1/4 of an inch. And then let's see. Yeah, when you close it, you want to make sure you see nothing in that window. So I'm just shaving that off, kind of fix that. So I'll wait for you guys to get there, and then we will do our patterns. Now you can do on this one that I did, and by all means, if you guys want to add more ink or add something else, add more ink. If you want to ink the edges of your cardstock or ink your frame, go for it. I glued my cardstock down, and then I was like, oh, I should have inked that, but it's too late now. So if you want to ink it, go for it. Ink it black. Amy, I have no idea how to do the math on it. I have no idea on an A2. We're going to do our pattern paper, and then here you can do either a black, I did a black cardstock, I did kind of a black glitter, you can do a black foil, you can do a black mirror, you can do whatever you want. So grab some kind of black paper if you want the black paper. And those are not my dimensions. Oh, they're on the floor. There it is. We're going to cut that piece of black paper to be 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. The last piece is attached. That little, when you close everything down, it's going to have the window on the back side, and it's right there on the back. So that little slip goes right there on the back. That's where it's fastened, is right here. That little hinge is right there. Okay, and then grab, perfect, great, Kelly. Grab something. It can be black cardstock, can be black glitter, it can be whatever you want. Mine's just from the Opulent pack, is what I'm using. You can use anything you want. Solid, glitter, mirror. We're going to cut it 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. 1, 2, 3. And I have been horrible at cutting today. I have cut everything wrong more than once today, because I think there's too much on my mind and I'm multitasking. And yeah, I'm fighting this dang cold. So 5 3/8 by 5 3/8 for your black piece. And then we're going to grab your pattern papers. And these pattern papers, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. I absolutely love them all. And I think I'm going to have to use one of them for my little deck a card challenge I'm doing. I'm going to work that into it somehow, but I'm going to do a challenge. But anyways, we're grabbing the butterfly. And this needs to be cut 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to keep this portion down here. I liked the butterflies in here, and I thought it framed really nice. So 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. And I love the weight of this paper too. This 49 and Market paper is very luxurious, and it is nice and heavy. Now, if you guys want to ink it, now's the time to ink it. Ink it now if you want to. I'm not going to, because I need to, I'm worried that we're going to go too long. So we are going to glue that onto that piece. Okay, so you're going to glue that piece down. To that black, either your mirror or your glitter or just your solid black, whatever you had is what you're going to glue that down to. Okay. I know, right, Amy? I was just thinking about it this morning. I had the little playing cards sitting in front of me, and I thought, I'm going to do a challenge or something with those, because I'm feeling unmojo motivated. So I'm hoping if I create something once a week, that'll inspire me to try some new stuff. Okay, so now you have your card, and I'm going to put removable adhesive on the back side of it, because I just want it to kind of hold it. If you want to glue it down, feel free to glue it down, but make sure you don't put glue here in this hole. Glue it down. Let me try to get it to lay flat. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. That way it doesn't shift. Don't glue your card shut. So don't put any glue in the hole. No glue in the hole or in our window. Okay, so we're going to glue that piece down. I found it easier at this point to glue these pieces down and then flip it and use the X-Acto knife to cut it out. You could try to do it with your dies and line it up, but I felt like it wasn't lining up very good. So you could try also to now take your die, and we'll give it a try, but I think no, I'm not even going to. I'll give it a try, but I think it's so thick that that die will not even cut through that cardstock. I'm not even going to try it because I know it won't line up, and then I'll be mad if it shifts. And then that's where I'm just going to take the X-Acto knife now and cut that window back out. I couldn't find a better way to try to do it with a die and line it back up and cut it out. I found this was the easiest route. And we are going through 2 pieces of paper here, so we might have to go over this more than once because that is pretty thick. Yeah, look at that. That is pretty thick paper. So we might just have to go over it a couple times. But hopefully this makes sense to you guys. And like I said, you can make your sloppy copy. I did that. There's my sloppy copy. And I always write my kind of measurements, even though it's upside down. My measurements and my stuff. Not pretty, but it's a sloppy copy. I got that. So hopefully you guys are making those too. I just find it so much easier. Sometimes when I'm in a rut and I'm like, ooh, what do I want to make? I can go through all my sloppy copies and be like, oh yeah, I love that card. That's going to work perfect. And then all your measurements are right there. I just write them directly on those cards. And it's easier than trying to find written directions somewhere else. Just write it on the sloppy copy itself. Oh, thank you, Heather. I think we're going to hopefully not run out of time. And it looks like we're going to pop out good. Okay, and like I said, if you have kind of some spots in there that aren't the greatest looking, just kind of take your sander, sand them off a little bit. We'll just kind of clean it up. Just kind of clean it up. Okay, so now you should have this. We have our front cover, our front pieces on there. Okay, are we good? Now we have to do our inside pieces. So we have to put pattern paper here and here. And then we do have this piece too that was on the back side of the paper we just cut. We're going to open this up. So we're opening the card up and we're going to put it right here on this piece. We're going to put it right here. So this is, we're going to say, you know what? Don't measure it. Let's just put our glue on it. Put your glue on and snip the hangover. Some days, just make it easy. So I'm going to put my glue right there on that piece. When you put your piece on, make sure you don't go all the way into the corner because you do want it to fold. So don't go all the way into the corner. You want it to be able to fold and not have all that thickness. So we're going to glue that on. And then we'll just flip it and snip it. You could use your scissors, you could use your trimmer, whatever you guys are comfortable with. Flip it and snip it. There we go. These 2 pieces we're not using, so you can pitch those or do whatever you want. Okay, so now we've got our interactive piece, our surprise, I don't know what to call this, surprise card, surprise flipper. We have that. So now we have to put pattern paper here and pattern paper here. So we're going to look for the one that has, I mean, it really doesn't matter. They're all pretty. This one has black flowers on the back side. Okay. And then there's one that has a butterfly down in the corner. This one. So this one has black flowers and butterflies on the back side, and then that has kind of that gray flower. So these are the 2 pieces you're grabbing, guys. Okay. And these are going to be what I have marked here, left and right. So they're going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Both of them are going to be those dimensions. Okay. So I'm going to put this in here right side up, and I'm going to cut my width first. So we are at 4 1/8. By 5 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Cut. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. And I want this butterfly in there. I want to keep that butterfly. So I'm going to put it upside down to do my 4 1/8. And then I want to keep this butterfly, so we're going to flip it and do 5 3/8. Okay, so we got these two pieces. At this point, if you guys want to ink them, go ahead and ink it now. Ink it now if you want it inked. We're going to glue these pieces down here, just like we did on the other one. And we are going to use the X-Acto knife again and cut the center out. So we're just kind of repeating what we did on the other sides. That way we have our pattern papers down. Oops, glue burr. And you're going to have just a little hair of white showing all the way around the outside edge. And we're just going to wiggle it into position. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to flip it over and make sure your card is open so you're not cutting into this. And we're going to cut this out now. So we're just cutting the windows out. This is only going through one piece of paper, so not as difficult as the first one we just did. And that was about my thumb. Bound and determined to cut myself. I need to put a new blade in. They always say, same thing with kitchen knives. A dull knife is bad news. That's when it slips and you cut yourself, is when you have dull tools. But at this moment, I don't know where my refills are. Oops, did I get my head in there? Okay. And we got to do this one more time. One more time. Okay, so there's that. Okay, and then this piece, open it and kind of laying it flat. This piece is going to go right here. Okay, so right there is where that piece is going to go. I'm hoping this is making sense for you guys, or at least you can slow it down and replay it later when you're doing it. I find interactive cards are hard to have written instructions for. I find they're easiest just to watch and either take screenshots or kind of take notes as you go that make sense to you. Make your sloppy copy. But fun folds are just hard to put into words, I think. So I hope visually you guys are getting this. Okay, so there's that piece. Then again, we got to cut this window open. So we're going to flip this piece over. And we're going to cut that window. And not our finger, Kourtney. Window, not a finger. kind of cutting in the air because I got that other layer back there. Did I even cut? Oh, I didn't even cut the bottom one. No wonder it didn't pop out. Sometimes if you go from the other side, you can get it too. Okay, there you go. And then I did not do the best cutting job on that. But you know what? We're going to cover that with embellishments, so you're not even going to see it. So, how's it going? Does everybody have that? Boy, I am going to run out of time on this card. I thought I was probably getting a little overambitious on this. But it's okay. You guys can kind of decorate, or we can go just a hair over. I think Deanna went a hair over too, right? It's allowed. Okay, so there's our card. We have our mechanism that's going to flip. Has everybody kind of got that? That's all of our pattern papers, so we're kind of on the home stop. Okay, so now we are going to, this is where I was like, oh, I didn't ink mine, and I was like, oh, it's too clean. It needs something. So at this point is when I added black splats. I was like, it's too clean. It needs something. So this is when I took my black acrylic paint, and you can do watercolors. You can do whatever you guys have, and do your black splats. Oh, we do have one more piece of paper to put on. Okay. And we're just going to kind of splat. So I like to kind of go at diagonals when I splat it. I don't like to do the whole thing everywhere because sometimes it just looks like too much. So just going to kind of add a little bit in there. Okay. So we're just kind of doing that top corner and then down here in this bottom corner. And we're going to have to give that a moment for it to dry before we open up and do the inside. So while we're waiting for it to dry, in your ephemera pieces, or this was in the, this was homework to grab. This was from the, what did they call that pack? This is the one that had all the tags and tickets in it. You're going to grab that guy, and that was part of your homework to grab those. And you're going to grab a rub-on. So the rub-on, I love these turquoise rub-ons. And we do still have a few of these in stock if you guys want to grab some more. But I thought, how cool to do a pop of color in here. Now, something I was experimenting rub-ons. I'm like, I know these rub-ons are kind of cool. Look distressed on my card. So I didn't do it perfect around the edges of it. I thought that was cool and fun. So I'll show you how I did that. If you want yours to be clean, then great. If you want yours to kind of hang off and be vintagey, by all means do that too. So you're going to grab a rub-on, and any rub-on you want that's going to kind of fit in the window or fit in that piece. And the rub-on, here's the rub-on I used on the first one. Kind of has that little white flower, green flower, and two turquoises on there. Stackers. Thank you, Kelly. It was from the Stackers set. So you're going to pick a flower. And what you can do, too, is kind of what I did when I first did this, is I kind of put it behind it, and I held it up to the light to see what bits and pieces were going to kind of line up or where it was going to go. So that's kind of how I did my original one. I'm going to do this one right here. So I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to find my scissors here somewhere. And we're just going to Pac-Man it, advertisement on the bottom, because that's actually a rub-on too. Actually a rub-on too. I liked the butterflies, but I think I'm going to save the butterflies for another project. Maybe my little card challenge. I'll save those because that'll fit nicely on a deck of cards. Okay, so then what we're going to do is you're going to peel your rub-on up. And this is slick, so nothing sticks to it. You're going to put your embellishment piece right there. And then we're going to kind of position your rub-on on there. And then we're going to rub it. We're going to rub it. And apply that rub-on to that tag. Now, you do need to rub a little bit off the edge. And the reason that we're rubbing the rub-on on this packaging is because nothing will stick to it. So when you peel your rub-on off, that's how you get the stuff poking off the edges there, guys. So you just want to rub it a little bit so you have a little bit of gnarly, fun embellishments poking off the top. We're going to peel that off. And then those bits and pieces, save those because you can use that somewhere else. And look at how cool that is. Isn't that cool to kind of have them hanging off the edges? Now, they're sticky on the back because why? They're rub-ons. So what I found I had to do, because you got to take the sticky off the back. Otherwise, when you open and shut your card, this is going to stick to something and you won't have that cool hangover. But I really like this. I thought it looked cool. So what I did is I took my powder tool and just very lightly added my anti-stick powder, my anti-powder, just like we would with a sticker or a cardstock sticker, and added powder to it. So now it's not sticky anymore. And these rub-ons are essentially plastic, so they're not going to fall off, see? And now it's not sticky, so it's not going to stick to your card. Isn't that fun? Okay, that was just something I was experimenting, and I had a what-if moment, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Okay, let's see how we're doing. We're still a little wet because I am a heavy splatter, but we're going to open it up a little bit, and we're going to put some splats on the inside, too. We're going to do some splats on the inside. Man, I'm going heavy tonight. Probably because I was using one finger. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so I kind of did a V, kind of a V shape. I don't want it all over the card. Okay, there's our splats. So that is it for splats. That's it for splats. I'm going to set that to the side and let it dry. I'm going to put the lid on our acrylic paint. Is that water or paint? That's just water. We're good with that. Okay, let me clear some space. So we need to look for one more piece of paper. We need to find this piece of paper here, the diagonal looking one. And that's going to be our back piece. So our back is 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. That's going to go on the very back. How are we doing on time? Ooh, I don't think we're going to get there, guys. Just grab my heat tool to kind of speed this up. Whoop. right, so now we're pretty much down to the embellishing. Now we are down to adding the all the ephemeras, all the little doodads and stuff that you guys have punched out. An extra little rub-on here and there from the charcoal, because I love those rub-ons and they're just really cool to kind of add. So we are down to the decorating part. We have built our card. It flips, it mechanisms. So now we're down to decorating. But we just got to get the card dried. And I did my splats before I did my embellishments, because I really liked these embellishments. And sometimes, as you can see, I get big splats and they fall where I don't want them to. And it looks like a goose comes through and just goes, so yeah. So that's why I kind of did my splats first, so it's not on those embellishments. My heat tool is kind of warping my cardstock, but I think I can squish it back down. Okay, I think we're dry enough to kind of start working a little bit, as I trip over my die cutting machine. I just threw it on the floor. So we're going to grab some rub-ons. Grab those charcoal rub-ons. And we're just going to kind of add them in bits and pieces. And we're also going to grab this guy. Now, I put foam on a couple of my items because to put everything flat is just kind of blah. So I wanted some stuff kind of pop. So I used what I call the low foam tape. And I put some on the back of this and then put it in there. Put it in that window. And it is a happy accident that this piece of ephemera fits in that window, because I did not plan this. I made a window and then I was like, what am I going to put in it? Okay, so that is just going to go right there in the center of that window with just a little bit of low foam tape on it. Low foam tape. Okay, and then we're going to look, I think we're dry enough here. We're going to look in our rub-ons, and we're just going to find some random rub-ons and apply. I really like the ones that look like paint splotches, these guys here. There's one here. I'm going to use that one right there. So I am going to Pac-Man it out of here. I don't know what else to call it. It just reminds me of Pac-Man. You're like, wonka, 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 wonka. Child of the 80s here. And I'm going to take that rub on, and we're just going to put it up in this top corner. I just love this tone on tone. Don't you guys too? This tone on tone is gorgeous. And then that little hint of turquoise in there. Oh my gosh, be still my heart. Okay, there's a random ink spot on there. So that gets put down. Every little bit and piece, this randomly gets rubbed on. There we go. Okay, and then also in our ephemera that I had you guys pull out, you're going to have a longer piece, a little longer piece, and we're just going to glue that down here kind of to the bottom. Just kind of glue it down to the bottom. So you only want to put glue on that bottom half. We're just kind of now layering all of our ephemera and all those pieces that we have. And my original one's going to be a little bit different because there's only one of everything in this kit. So I tried to find things that were similar-ish. And then you're going to find your excuse me, I felt it coming. Excuse me. You're going to find your mini lasers. Mini lasers. Oh my goodness. And we're going to look for just a random butterfly to put up there. It doesn't matter what butterfly. There's lots of butterflies on here. I kind of like this white looking one because it'll contrast to that. Perfect. There are tons of butterflies in this little set. So just find a butterfly, pick a butterfly, any butterfly, and we're just going to glue him down. Kind of right up there in that corner. And then also in the mini laser cuts, you're going to look for a sentiment. On here, there's your little sentiments. Family is forever. You're enough. Favorite memory. This is the story. Remember forever. And I put that right here kind of in your flowers. So I think I'm going to put it up a little bit. And that's just adding that in there. Okay. And then on my original one, I did So Very Grateful, and I kind of just put it a little bit lower. Okay, then also in your die cuts, you have this long stringy guy. I don't know what to call him. This fun guy there. And then you've got this black and white kind of character here. We are going to cut off these two. And you can use them for something else with. So we're going to take that guy. And we're just going to kind of lay him in. And you can lay over the windows. And then just kind of lay him in like that. So you're just kind of lay him in. Just layer it in. And then we're just going to glue those down. So we'll just put a little bit of liquid glue on those. And make sure when you're putting your glue on, you don't put it where you'll glue it down to this piece. And then we've got the other piece. We're just going to put some liquid glue on him and do the same thing. And again, make sure when you're gluing these down that you can close your card. Make sure you're not in that spine. You want to be able to close your card down. So we're just layering those pieces in. On my original ones, mine are going to the right, and on this one, they're going to the left because there's two different sets in the pack, okay? And then we got to put a sentiment down here. So I love these. We have Never Forget, Hard Times. On my original one, I did Memories. So just pick whatever little sentiment tag that you would like. We're going to put some liquid glue on that and glue that one down. Perfect. And then we're looking for an itty bitty little bow that's going to be on these laser cuts too. And I didn't have you guys punch these items out because they were so small that I figured they would get lost and or destroyed. And we're going to put that little bow right there. So normally we release the next Crafty Hour on the Friday after a Crafty Hour. So that would be tomorrow. But we are not this time because the product that we have selected for the next Crafty Hour is a brand new product that has not been released yet, and release date is next Friday. So that's why we are going to shift and take a week off. So Crafty Hour registration for number 81 will be next Friday. Next Friday. Okay, so now we've got that. We're going to close it down. And we're going to do the outside. And I found it easier. Take a clip and just kind of hold it. Sometimes you need an extra set of hands, don't you? Okay. We're going to grab some more rub-ons. Love these rub-ons. And this time we're going to grab this random stuff down here. These, I don't know what to call it, kind of like a netting. I think these are really fun. And we're going to use bits and pieces of that. So this netting kind of stuff. And we're just going to chop some off. Any hints? Nope, no hints. A hint. The vendor's doing a reveal next Friday. Anybody know what vendors is releasing next Friday? It's good. Okay, so we're just going to add that random netting right up there to the top. Just adding some more layers. Perfect. Love that one. And then we're going to add some more butterflies. So let's go back to our sheet and let's find two different, kind of did a small and a medium. Oh, thank you, Carrie. Okay, so here's a small one. Doesn't matter what butterflies you use, guys. There are tons on this pack. Since I did kind of a dark one on that one, I think I'll do a lighter one on the other. So I have two different colors of butterflies. That way we have a little bit of a contrast. So instead, tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we will be doing our full Maker Mania kit reveal. So if you're a part of Maker Mania 13 and you want to see the goodies in the kit, we will be doing the full reveal tomorrow at 11 o'clock. If you're not sure what Maker Mania is and you're still on the fence about joining and you want to see the kit, then by all means, again, join us tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Okay, in your ephemera, you're going to look for the one that says chair with the 8P, and you're going to look for this one. Okay, and this is where I kind of just start layering pieces in, and again, I'm layering it kind of off. You can see that I'm overlapping over here. And I'm going to do my, my trick. So we've got those. And then you're going to grab your kind of leaves and layer that on. You're going to grab, oh, let me see what leaves we use. We use those leaves. We use this one. And we use this one. So those three leaves, and we're going to layer them in there, there, and then there. So we're just building a cluster. And when you build your clusters, you can glue them down, and I find it easy to take my press and seal. I'm going to press them and essentially freeze them. I'm going to flip them, and I'm going to put my foam tape, low foam tape, on the back side. Okay, we're just putting low foam tape on there. And then the flowers and stuff, they need to be glued to that portion too. So what I usually do is I just take my glue and I just kind of lift it a little bit and add some glue in here and just do a little spot checking. Just kind of lift and glue, lift and glue. And I'm just gluing the flowers on. Now, if you want to pop your flowers, by all means, feel free to pop your flowers. I'm just kind of gluing them onto that spot. Now, these flowers right here, I am going to put pops on those since our main piece has pops. I'm going to put pops on those too. Let me find my weight. Where's my weight? There we go. Hold that down while it glues. So then I'm going to just take my little itty bitty microns and just add those here and there to those flowers. All right, so now we're just going to peel and stick. And I find this easy. I love the press and seal trick because sometimes I can never figure out how to lay them or position them right back in that same spot that we originally had. Okay. Oh, Joe's on. Joe will be doing Crafty Hour number 81. So I can't wait to see what design she comes up with. I know they'll be fabulous. She says it looks delicious. She knows what it is. Oh, that is a good hint. That's a good hint. Okay. And now I'm just going to go and kind of spot check some more of these guys and just make sure everything is kind of glued down. We're going to go just a hair over, guys, but I think we'll be okay. I think Deanna went a hair over today, too. Oh, goodness. Excuse me 1 second. We're going to make it. I can feel it. We're going to make it. Okay, then you've got this little guy right here. I kind of just tucked him in under. But you know what? I put my foam tape on there. We're going to just put some glue on him, and we are going to tuck him under there. Just kind of building another layer of interest. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to look for a little butterfly or moth, whatever you guys like. But I want one that looks like it's landing. I want a side view one. Oh, here's one right here. And this is what I mean by side view. I want a little side view one to put on the flower. We're going to put a little pop dot on the back side of him and pop him in this flower right here. He has taken flight and he has landed right there in that little flower. Okay. Then in your laser cuts, this was homework to pull out. You've got this piece right here. And I just kind of snuck that piece right in here along this bottom. I felt like it was a little bit too clean there. And we're going to go to the edge of the card. Or the edge of the white. The edge of the white is what I went to. Okay, so we're going to snip it and just put a little liquid on there. And we're going to chase that under there just to kind of put at the edge of our frame on that. And then we are going to, on our small laser cuts, we're going to look for a little heart. I'm going to go... what size did I use? I'm going to go with this one right here. It's a little heart, kind of a medium-sized one with the little bow in it, little knot, which is cute. And we're going to put a little adhesive on there. And then put it right here, kind of at that little intersection. And then it kind of hides too if you didn't cut your paper perfect. Okay, let's see what we're missing. we are missing a rub-on down here. So if I always do something up here, I always try to repeat it somewhere else. So we're going to repeat a little bit of that, what I call the netting kind of rub-on. We're just going to chop a little off. And we're going to repeat that down here. Might have cut it way bigger than I needed, but we don't have to use the whole piece. So that just kind of helps repeat the pattern. There we go. And I still have a little on here, so we'll just go put it up there. No rub-on goes wasted. They're all just random inky splotches, so there's no right or wrong. There we go. Okay, that's the outside. I think we got everything on the outside of the card. We're looking good. Now we're going to open her up and do our little peekaboo. Peekaboo. And we need to decorate this side now. And then we'll put our back panel on. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put the back panel on now because I see it right there. So we're going to open the back up. And this goes on the inside back. Inside back. Okay, there's that. So now we have a panel there. Now we can close it back up. And add our embellies here. So we've got I pulled the wrong pieces. I pulled the wrong pieces in my stacker. You want this one, and that one. Okay, those two are good. I missed pulling one. And so I have these pieces poking out here, and what the idea was to cover that. So I just kind of covered it so it wasn't sticking out as much, or I didn't see my black foam dots that was there. So that's kind of the idea behind putting these there and just kind of hiding that mess. So I'm going to look for my low foam tape, and I'm just going to foam tape right here. And then I'm just going to put that piece in there just to hide my foam tape and hide that stuff there just a little bit. Just kind of hide the back side of those. And then this piece here, I'm going to put up here, and it's just to kind of layer in another piece. And I'm going to put low foam tape just at the top of it. And then you can put liquid on the bottom, just to kind of add another layer of interest. I love that pop of teal. That pop of teal is just, Okay, so we're going to layer that in. Just like that. Okay, so then we should have this flower here. I have a random leaf left over. I'm trying to figure out where we used it. I don't think we used, oh, we did use it on the front. Okay, we'll see if we need it or not. We might not need it. This one's going to get glued flat. There is so much in this kit, guys. Oh my gosh, we jammed-packed this, and I just could not stop tucking and folding and layering and ooh and ah. There's just, it's easy to go hog wild. There's just so much in this kit to kind of keep layering and just adding. Then we're going to look for a little moth or butterfly to kind of put up there. And again, we are in the mini laser cuts. Put it in there. When in doubt, add a butterfly. Right? There we go. And then that left a little bit up here, and I'm like, well, we got to put something up there. Oh, and then we have a postage stamp still in your laser cut. So I just kind of put the postage stamp, and kind of layered it in there just to add another little layer. Like I said, there were so many little goodies that I just could not stop tucking and poking and placing. Okay, you've got this little topper that you pulled for your homework. We're going to put him up here at the top. And then we're going to look for another little heart. And it's going to go, make sure this one's small enough. It's going to go in the center. There we go. Perfect. Of that piece. We do still have a few of these kits available. So if you did not grab a Crafty Hour number 79 and you're seeing how many cool things and inspirings in here and you want to grab one, they are up on our website right now. I know Deanna said this morning that she still had a couple left. So you might, if you're in Canada, give Clipper Street a call. And you can grab a kit from there if you haven't yet. You know what? I don't feel like I need that leaf cluster in there. So one more look, and let me make sure I got everything. Yes, we got everything. All right, guys. So that is it. Sorry, it went just a hair over, but kind of flip peekaboo mechanism card. There is the one we just did. Here is my original. And we will be creating the event and reminding you guys that Crafty Hour number 81 will be going live next Friday at 11 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Pacific. Make sure to tune in. We already have the product in store and ready to go. So that means what we have is what we have. And it is a fabulous vendor. It is a fabulous release. And there's some really cool add-ons and things that are going to match and coordinate with it. So you guys are going to love it. So thank you so much for joining me. It was great to craft along with you guys. And don't forget to join the the Creative Creations Facebook group. If you have not joined that yet, make sure to join that private Facebook group. That is for both of our stores. That is where you guys can post your inspirations, your makes, and we love seeing all the extras that you guys make with these card kits because there is so much in this one. We cannot wait to see what you did. So have a wonderful night, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.